am Tejaswini Patwardhan, founder of Open Minds Productions. Let me ask you a question. What does it take to bring about a change? Thinking differently? Yes, definitely. But more than that, making things happen. We are coming up with a series called Bheed Se Alag, in which we shall meet people from different walks of life. People who have made a positive impact in the world around them. People who are part of the crowd, भीड़ का हिस्सा, पर फिर भी भीड़ से अलग. Sports can play a major part in our lives. It can provide immediate and long-term relief to people with disabilities who are often plagued with health issues, both emotional and physical. Today we have with us Capt.Louis George, a former Indian Navy captain who has been coach of Maharashtra women's wheelchair basketball team since 2017. He was also the coach for Indian women's wheelchair basketball team for Asia Oceanic Championship at Pattaya in 2019. Thanks a lot for being here, sir.
Yeah, thank you, ma'am.
Sir, my first question to you would be, what are the challenges, apart from the obvious, that wheelchair sports people face?
Yes, ma'am, that's a good question. Even though the challenges are obvious, we still have these challenges. The greatest challenge is accessibility. Now, on a wheelchair, it is not climbing the stairs is not possible. You need a ramp. So, if you are going to a stadium, you need a ramp at the stadium. If you are going to the washroom, you need ramps there. You need enough size of doors so that the wheelchair can go into the washroom. You need a Western style toilet. You cannot have an Indian style toilet there. Similarly, if you are coming by train, then you need the disabled compartment to be at the correct location, and you need people to make space for you. In the disabled compartment at present, you see everybody else other than the disabled. Similarly, in the buses, in the taxis, you need accessibility. In most of the cases, the taxi drivers or the Ola drivers don't allow these people to come in because they say your wheelchair will spoil my seat, spoil my cushions. So it becomes all the more difficult. So accessibility is one of the major problems. The second problem is lack of proper equipment. In the case of basketball, wheelchair basketball, for playing wheelchair basketball, you require a sports wheelchair. A normal low-end wheelchair, sports wheelchair costs 36,000 rupees. This, of course, is manageable by getting sponsors from friends and your own family members and their own family members. But if you have to get a customized sports wheelchair or playing for the national team or doing well in the game, each customized wheelchair costs 4 to 5 lakhs and even 6 lakhs. So it becomes all the more difficult. So this is the second problem. The third major problem is depression. Whenever anybody has an accident and then has a spinal cord injury, and then becomes disabled. So the first thing is to get out of this disability mode and to get back to normal life. So normally it takes about 5 to 6 years because lack of proper counseling and lack of proper opportunities. But once they know that things are available and then their mind is made up, then they come back into the mainstream, then there is no problem. So accessibility, finances, equipment, depression. These are the things that are the major problems that they face.
Sir, do you think sports helps them in a way by making them emotionally stronger?
Yes, of course. Sports is linked to EQ. By sports, when you play sports, endomorphins are released, you get a feeling of well-being and you get a good feeling. Then you have a feeling of euphoria when you do well in sports. When you score a basket, when you're sitting on a wheelchair and wheeling it forward and scoring a basket or passing to somebody, you get a feeling of well-being. Then sports improves your communication. So all these are linked to the emotional quotient, emotional intelligence. The sports improves your communication skills. It improves your teamwork, improves your perception, It improves your confidence, self-confidence. Once you do well in sports, you are confident. You are confident to take on anything in life. So sports improves all these things. So once these wheelchair players start taking part in sports, it is a great boost to their confidence.
So people with disability have to be always encouraged to get into sports and these kind of activities. But sir,
Yes,
are there
ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
any training? Do we have enough training facilities here in India?
Training facilities, normally we would prefer an indoor basketball court which is accessible. In Bombay, we for 2 years we searched. We couldn't get an indoor court. We played at Borivali YMCA, Borivali Down Bosco, at the All India Institute of Rehabilitation at Haji Ali, and all cement outdoor courts, which is not good for the players because if they fall down, they'll get injuries. So we were lucky with the help of an organization called Nina Foundation and Bombay University, where the head of department at that time was Professor Vasanti Madam, and with the help of Nina Foundation, Ketna Madam, we managed to get an indoor stadium at the Bombay University in 2018, and because of this, our team has done well. Initially, in 2017, we came fourth in the national championship, and after a lot of practice and indoor wheelchair basketball practice, we managed to beat the holders, Tamil Nadu, in the nationals at Erode in their own home ground in
Wonderful.
2018. And in 2019, we continued this at Mohali. We once again beat Tamil Nadu in the finals. And 6 girls are taking part in the Indian team, and they have done well. So now training facilities are there in Bombay, and it is there in India all over. There are enough training facilities with the Sports Authority of India, with international schools and colleges. But the only problem is most of these personnel do not give us the code for practice because firstly they have the wrong impression that the code will get spoiled if the wheelchairs are used inside the code, which is very wrong. The wheels do not spoil the code. Second thing, the fear is that what will happen if they get injured? Will we be blamed? So far last 3 years we have had no injuries, and we practice at Bombay University. So my request is to all the people having indoor facilities to open up these facilities to the disabled, to the wheelchair basketball team, to the wheelchair badminton team, wheelchair rugby team. We even have wheelchair kabaddi, sometimes wheelchair volleyball. So many things are there in wheelchair. So we should be able to open this. We have got wheelchair swimming. They leave the wheelchair and they go for swimming. So all these things are there. So disabled are in no way behind us in all these sports.
Taking this ahead, sir, what strengths do you think disabled sports people have that able-bodied sports people don't?
Yeah, like I told you in the beginning, it takes some time for them to come out of their depression. This is for those who are able-bodied and those who have an accident. We have other players who have got polio and right from childhood and all, so they are already into this. But once you come out of your depression and once you start playing, then I think the wheelchair, I'm talking about basketball, the wheelchair basketball players are much, much better than the able-bodied basketball players. They are much more disciplined, which is their strength. They have decided that they will do something in their life and to get on with their lives. So once they have decided that, they're much more disciplined, they're hardworking, they do not complain when I make them practice for 4 hours on Saturday and Sunday. They do not complain that their weekend is gone. They do not complain that their social life is not there. So they play for 4 hours because the court is available to us on Saturdays and Sundays. So they do not complain. Sometimes there is no lunch. Sometimes there are no snacks. I mean, of course, now we have managed all that with the help of NGOs and sponsors. We get snacks and lunch at the court, but they do not complain. So that is their greatest strength, the willpower to do something that they should do. They do something in life. So they are hardworking, disciplined, and I would any day prefer to coach a wheelchair basketball team than an able-bodied team because their strengths are different. Thank you.
So what do you think society at large can do to integrate those differently abled?
That is a very good question. I was expecting that question that you would ask. Society at large has a major role to play in the well-being of the disabled personnel, disabled sportsmen. Why only sportsmen? Why everybody? Everybody who's disabled, the blind, the deaf, the person on the wheelchairs. Now, first thing is accessibility. We as a society, we as the people in the government, the people in corporates, they must make sure that their buildings are disabled friendly. We've got ramps, I've got proper lifts where the wheelchairs can go in. Although government orders exist on the subject, it is still, we've still got a long way to go in this. The first thing as a society is we must make sure that they're accessible, all these places. Second thing is, we must not look at all these people with sympathy. They do not require our sympathy. They require empathy. They do not require help to push their wheelchairs. They will push their own wheelchairs. We are not required to push their wheelchairs. They will do it on their own. If they ask you for help, well and good. Otherwise, they will do it on their own. So they require help. They require jobs. They require government jobs. There are very qualified. I have a lady who's doing an MBA with us. So I hope she gets a good job. There are others who have finished their 10th, they finished their degree. They can do lots of jobs, data entry, they can do other jobs. They can do supervisory jobs. So they require job, they require to be financially independent. And especially the women. And being a woman and being disabled is really bad in India because our society thinks that they will not be safe. Firstly, they are women, and then they are on wheelchairs. But we should get out of the mindset and try to give them jobs and try to gainfully employ them so they are confident in
Empower
life.
them.
And then once they come for playing sports, then they don't have those other worries of finances and confidence. So once they are self-confident, they do better in sports. They can do well in life also.
The biggest takeaway that I got from our talk is that people who are differently abled, the best gift we can give them is our empathy and opportunities to help them reach their maximum potential. That is all we need to do. They can stand up for themselves. All we need to give them is emotional and opportunity for financial support. Thanks a lot, sir. I think you are doing a wonderful job. Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you, ma'am.